I do beg your pardon. I'm afraid I didn't anticipate such a delay in my arrival. You are the new student I'm supposed to be showing around, yes? It is a pleasure to finally be meeting you. I am Professor Sebastian Michaelis, though I'm certain that was explained in the email you received, yes? Oh. My sincerest apologies. It would seem that some of the administration doesn't share my passionate adherence to professionalism. All the same, it is a pleasure to be making your acquaintance. And, while I do know your name, I would like to instill in you the habit of introducing yourself to others around here. I understand that for students studying abroad in a country without any of their fellow classmates, it can be rather intimidating trying to get to know the new people and professors around you. So, let's begin, shall we? Speak up and make it clear. I understand that you must be rather timid considering I am a new person, and your professor nonetheless. However, you must project your voice with confidence, or no one will take you seriously. Come now, speak up. A most excellent improvement. Now then, while introductions were left out of the email you received, may I presume that you were at least told what our objective will be for the day? That is quite correct. I have been entrusted to show you around and to introduce you to a few of your professors. Oh? And why might that be? I do beg your pardon. It is not our intention to treat you as though you are a child. However, well, despite our occasional mistakes, as with the email situation, we do pride ourselves upon being one of the top-performing schools in this area. And your accent. Schools where you're from aren't always the best, are they? Prioritizing profit over education. It is rather disappointing, and I dare say it is a disgrace to the field of education. However, far be it from me to judge the United States of America when I have never set foot there, and I don't ever intend to, for quite obvious reasons, I'm certain you can see. Oh, is that so? Well, I can assure you that this school shall at least be a fair bit safer than what you're used to. While there is, of course, some misbehavior among the students, as is expected at any institution of learning, especially with people around this age, I can assure you that there has never been a violent outburst, nor has there ever been an incident in which people genuinely felt unsafe. Well, unless, of course, there is that one incident. Oh, pay no mind to it. It was decades ago, and, truthfully, it's something that is better left in the pages of a history book. Quite the persistent little gnat, aren't you? Oh, it was nothing. I didn't say a word. If you insist upon knowing about it, there was a student many years ago who had rather profane interests. He was, as some might say nowadays, rather troubled, I suppose is the only way I could put it. He was troubled and never sought any outside help for those troubles that plagued him. He was deeply disturbed by the idea of death. He believed that it was possible for one to escape it entirely. He was under the delusion that humankind has any authority to decide who lives and who dies, any authority to decide whether or not death ought to be evaded. He was a medical student, as one would expect. Such a person with a crusade against death could only benefit from being in the medical field, where one is constantly saving lives. However, his interests didn't lie in surgery, not in a typical manner. His interests didn't lie in producing pharmaceuticals. No. His interests rested solely in perfecting what he called perfect salvation. What I mean it sounds like something out of a horror story, though considering the time of year, perhaps that is appropriate. He was a believer of this principle called perfect health. Achieving perfect health involved, of course, having a healthy body, a healthy mind, a healthy spirit, healthy teeth even, which most medical students tend to neglect. They see that field as something far removed from them, as well as healthy friendships. He emphasized the importance of health in every aspect of a person's life. And then, by achieving perfect health, he believed it was possible to move on to the next phase of his research, his next goal, perfect salvation. What he did medical students, in case you are unaware, are subjected to gross anatomy courses. Rather intricate lectures they receive, as well as instructions on how to perform certain medical procedures. Bodies are donated to the pursuit of scientific research. Precisely. They do need something to practice on. And this student in particular stole several of the cadavers that were reserved for such classes, and he defiled them in ways that would even make a demon shiver. What he did to them, he didn't work alone, we know that, but regrettably, we have no means of tracking down his associate. What he did was attempt to resurrect the corpses using a combination of surgical procedures and technology. You ask that as if there's any question. Why would you believe that it had worked? Oh? No school is free from its legends and rumors. Ours is no different. I can assure you, there has never been an instance of a living corpse on this campus. I can say it with dead certainty, because I remember that incident quite well. I was present at the school when it occurred. As unfortunately persistent as you are, you do have a side of flattery to you. I do appreciate that you say I don't look nearly old enough to have been present for such an incident. However, I do have my methods. I assure you, I was there. Never has there been a case in which a corpse was resurrected on our school grounds, despite his efforts. It simply didn't happen. Now then, we have reached your residence hall. Before we begin with introductions to your professors and a tour of the campus, I might advise you to drop off your luggage here. It has been a rather exhausting day for you, hasn't it? Full of travel and... the dread of all the tourists that come this time of year. My apologies. I do get quite irate with those who clog up our cities with their incessant chatter and need to stop every few feet to take a photograph. It is rather frustrating, as I'm certain you can imagine. Now then, run along, put your things away, and I'll be waiting for you here. Indeed, those corpses never walked the campus grounds. But they did try to get back here after being brought to that undertaker's shop for their resurrection.